Good evening, everyone. Come on in, come on in. It is Wednesday, and that means it's time for WealthyU wind down, but it also means that it's time for our good Get Wealthy watch party. So come on in, everybody. As you can see, I'm a little tongue-tied, and what can I say? It's always busy in WealthyU. So come on in for those of you who are watching us on YouTube or on Facebook. Hey, you're in the right place. You're in the right place. Let me see who is here. Let me look in the chat. Let me know where you hail from, so I can give you a shout out. Who is in the room with us this evening? Okay, I see a number of our WealthyU members are here. Good evening. It looks like Wendy Blocker, Dr. Z's, Erlene Kersey's in the house, Suzanne Boyd, one of our ambassadors. Love to see it. Let me look in this chat and see who else is in here. Good evening. If it's your first time, please let me know that you are here. And it is also Get Wealthy. Man, this is a Get Wealthy watch party and WealthyU wind down. So if you have your favorite beverage, I want to invite all of you to come on in. Let's watch this week's episode of Get Wealthy, which, by the way, was awesome. So I'll start off, though. Let me let a few more people get in here. I want to tee up this week's episode because the interview that I did is with a woman who I met, it's probably been 4 or 5 years now. And what's so exciting about this story is that, you know how you can say, I remember when, right? Like, I remember when I met this woman, and she had just started and had started out creating this product. And the product was really around solving a problem that she herself had, and she saw other women like herself having. The interesting thing about that, what I think is so important, particularly as it relates to WealthyU, is one of our major concepts. Part of our framework is what? In the chat. Let me know. I just want to see if those of you who've been watching me here on WealthyU know what that major concept is. Let me see if you know in the chat. What is it? Come on, you guys know. It's mindset, right? Like, the wealth mindset says that problems are opportunities. And when you begin to look at life in that manner, that's really how you create or add value to other people, is that you solve their problems. And so tonight, we're going to see an example of that in real life. And in this week's episode, you're going to meet a woman who had a problem herself, had no experience at all in solving this problem, and actually created a product to solve the problem. So how many of you have ever had an idea and said, man, I should create this, and then saw it on one of those, what are those programs, could show up on a QVC or something, right? Well, this week's interview on Get Wealthy is about a young woman who did just that. So do we have the viewing guide set up as well? Yep, Dennis, you knew it. I'm sorry I missed it. I see it in the chat now. I knew you knew it was mindset, right? Nikki says, yeah, me. That's right. Well, I want you guys to pay close attention to this interview. Because if you've ever wanted to bring a product to market, but have been intimidated by it, by thinking that you need experience, you need that, you basically are going to see a model tonight of how someone actually brought a product to market. How's that sound? Is that cool? Is this something that you want to learn about? So to that end, we just put the Get Wealthy viewing guide in the chat. So download it and keep a copy of it, guys, because one of the things I want you to, what's the other thing that I often say on in WealthyU is that knowledge, right, is not power, right? Knowledge is not power. What is power? In the chat, let me see. I'm giving y'all tests tonight. Ha ha! That's right. Paula says knowledge correctly applied and is power, and that's exactly right. So what I want you to do is, as you're watching Get Wealthy, that our framework is mindset, strategy, and execution. That's exactly what you'll see on your viewing guide. And so it's really understanding what is the mindset that you need to have in order to bring a product to market, right? What is the strategy that you need to apply if you're going to bring it to market? And then how do you execute on it? So, of course, this is also WealthyU Wind Down. So let's give a toast tonight to this episode of Get Wealthy with Sherrill Mosey from Mickey Blue. Here's a toast to all of you. Oh, that's good. Good work, hubby. That's a great cab if I ever tasted one. So who's ready to get this party started? Excellent. Let's start our screen. And by the way, I have to Get Wealthy a plug. Hey, if you're not watching Get Wealthy, download the Black Star Network app so that you can watch all our previous episodes as well, and tell your friends, because that's the only way we're going to keep this party going, is that we get more people viewing it. So let me go right to our, oops, wrong one. Hang on, let me find the right. There we go. All right, let's get this party started.
Your Black beyond measure. I'm Deborah Owens, America's Wealth Coach, and it's time to get wealthy. You're going to learn exactly what you need to know and do to finally achieve the level of financial success you desire and you deserve. Have you ever had $1 million idea and wondered if it truly was a good idea and you could take a product to market? According to Harvard Business School, 95% of new products that are offered in the marketplace actually fail. And that's not just, Joe Homey or anybody. Even large companies fail with their products. You remember Coca-Cola and the new Coke? Or maybe you don't remember Frito-Lay came out with a lip balm that tastes like Cheetos. That's what we're going to talk about today. What do you need to do and know to actually bring a product to market and be successful? Well, here are the 3 things you need to know in order to do well. First, you've got to do your research. Second, it's important to build a prototype so you actually have a product that you can then validate and see if you have customers who will actually buy it. And that's why I'm glad we're having a conversation with someone today who had a great idea and she wanted to solve a problem. Sherrill Mosey felt like she was carrying so many bags and was overloaded. She even called the term overloaded syndrome, from a backpack for your books to a package or a bag for your clothes, your workout clothes. She wanted to design something that would give you organization and also be fashionable. She brought that idea to market, and now it's known as Minky Blue. And we want to welcome Sherrill Mosey to Get Wealthy. Thank you for coming to Get Wealthy, joining us today.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm excited to be here.
Now, did I describe like your idea correctly?
You absolutely did, and you hit right on those points. You want to do your research, validate the idea, right? So you hit it right on the nail, absolutely.
So before we get started, I want our viewers to know a little bit about you. I mean, did you dream of creating a product and one day bringing it to market? Was that your background?
No, my background is engineering, and I just stumbled upon becoming what I'm known now as the bag lady. What happened was I was taking the train in the city, and I was carrying my lunch bag. I had my laptop. I had my shoes in a plastic grocery bag. Sometimes, we want to switch out those flats and those heels. So I had that bag inside of my tote bag, and I was just struggling with 2 or 3 bags on the train. And I looked around on the train and I said, you know what? There are a lot of women that are carrying two or 3 bags while commuting to work. And that's when I started thinking about this whole bag idea.
I'm so glad you shared the fact that you didn't have a background in it, because I think so often that's why people are fearful of bringing their ideas to light, if you will, and marketing it, is they think you need all the technical know-how. And so we on Get Wealthy have a framework for success, and it's called Mindset, Strategy, and Execution. And so I'd like to think about bringing a product to market in that framework. And so you were an engineer. And the question I have is, here you probably worked for a large corporation. Now you're really becoming an entrepreneur. What kind of mindset shift did it take you? Did you have to take in order to bring this idea to light?
Yeah, that was a big step, because I'm gonna back up a little bit. So I was an engineer at a large company, and then I was laid off, and I started a nonprofit organization. And I was working with student moms. I was helping raising money to pay for their childcare so they could stay in school. And so even watching the moms with their diaper bag and their book bag, and then me taking the train, all culminated in this idea. And so when you talk about the mindset, I was like, well, I don't know anything about manufacturing or fashion design. So when I came up with this idea, fear set in, just like you said, because I didn't really know anything about designing a bag. I didn't know anything about materials or even merchandising or marketing. And so I was literally just sabotaging my own self by saying, you don't know anything about this, you can't do it. So it really took me almost a year before I got started. One day it was a mind shift. It was like, if you don't do this now, I mean, you have a degree in engineering, talking to myself, you can figure this out. So oftentimes, even when we don't know anything about what we're gonna make or do, there's such a wealth of information out there, and there's so many resources and people that you can connect to. And that's what I did. That the first thing that you said when you opened up the conversation is do the research. So that was the point I started at. If I didn't know anything else, I knew that I could start with doing research.
So that leads me to another question that I'm sure someone who is thinking, well, she was an engineer and she's bringing a product to market. She knows how to figure things out. Do you feel like your engineering background gave you an advantage?
I do, but I often say, even if I didn't have a degree in engineering, it was about problem solving. I mean, we see it every day when people are working on different products. It could be a mom that having a different experience doing something with her child and find it difficult or cumbersome and she can't find anything. So she makes this product. So it starts with the mindset, because like I just said, I didn't know anything about anything, but it was about problem solving. And so I try to break it down to the smallest thing possible that I could do without having any education. And that is research, networking, connecting with people, getting started at that place.
And then finally, how did you were a year and you said it took you a year to actually get started. What do you think the catalyst for you just overcoming those doubts? If someone is having a lot of doubts about getting started, actually delivering some kind of product.
Yeah, I was thinking, so my mother would always say to me when I was younger, nothing beats a failure but a try. And I figured if I never even tried it, I don't want to wake up one morning when I'm much older and regret that I never even tried. If we don't just step out on faith and just give it a try, we'll never know if we'll be successful. And so that's what it was. It's like, I at least gotta give this a try. So that's really what pushed me, and the fact that if I don't do it, somebody else will. Because oftentimes, we think alike. We all have the same type of problem. So if I don't do it, someone else will do it.
That's a great point. And I'm sure myself included, I've encountered a problem. I'm like, man, I bet you if I created XYZ, this would be a great product. And then you go into the store and you see those products that say, as seen on TV, and you thought, man, that was my idea. You bring up a really good point, and that's all of us can have great ideas, and yet we don't follow through. I was reading this book called Big Magic, and it was by the author that wrote Eat, Pray, Love. And she was talking about a book that she had started writing, and long story short, she lost the book because of some kind of circumstances. And then she was talking with one of her mentors, and her mentor was telling her about this project that she was working on, and it literally was the same story.
Wow.
And so, it's like opportunities aren't lost, they just go to other people. And so in our next segment, I want to talk about the second piece of the framework of mindset, strategy, execution, and that's strategy. So you got over the doubts, you got started. Now, next, I want to talk about what you did to really begin to figure things out. So don't go anywhere, folks. I'm talking with Sherelle Mosey of Minky Blue, who has now created an organizational fashion bags of all types, and you can find them in stores everywhere, in particular Macy's. So when we come back, we're talking about strategy.
Aha! Now, let me bring my camera back up. What did you learn? on mindset. There were several things. And as I was interviewing her, I thought about something that I say in WealthyU a lot. And it's about opportunity. And she said it in this way. She said, yeah, I remember my mom said, nothing beats a failure but a try. What is one of our other mantras in WealthyU around that same topic? Who knows what it is? And if they do, put it in the chat. So what is one of our mantras about, okay, if you don't, someone else will, but I want to see if anyone gets this. What is one of our mantras in WealthyU about taking action? Come on, guys, you gotta know this. Yes, Dr. Z. I will have to start giving out some prizes for you guys. That's right, Dr. Z. You never lose. You either win or you learn. Bing, 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 bing. And so, you know what? I really feel like that this show, this episode, somebody needed to hear this tonight. And if you are someone who's had this burning idea, now we're giving you a roadmap tonight. We're giving you a roadmap. So I want you to look at this from the perspective and from the lens of, here's someone that created a product. How can I take maybe an idea that I've had and bring it to market? Good stuff, guys. So again, what was your takeaway from that first segment of mindset? Any takeaways? I'm gonna give you just a couple of minutes, and I'm gonna cue our program up. What were your takeaways? Come on, you guys are too quiet in the chat. Let me know. Don't sit on your ideas. That's exactly right. Opportunities aren't lost. They just go to somebody else. Then it says, believe in your vision and don't let fear overcome you. That's right. Lynette said, if you don't, someone else will. You have to start somewhere. Problems are everywhere. Find the solution. That's so good, Karen, because that is the point. If you can begin to look at problems as almost breadcrumbs, right? Reaching out for you for an opportunity. That's right, Belinda. Just do it. Research, network, and problem solve. Jean, execute. If you don't, someone else will. That's exactly right. So let's go back. Let me just cue this up really quickly, share my screen, and let's see what else we can learn from our guest this evening.
Our guest in my conversation today is with Cheryl Mosey, and she's talking about how she brought an idea to light and now you can find it in stores. So Cheryl, the next part of this framework is strategy. So you did your research, and I think that's where a lot of people get stuck. You know, they'll do the homework, but they won't get started. So then what was your strategy to actually get your first product even manufactured?
Yeah, so, you know, the first thing in thinking about this whole bag idea was that if I was going to do this, I had to differentiate my bag from everything on the market because the handbag industry is oversaturated. So how could I differentiate myself from everything else? And so I decided that if I was going to do something, I needed to have a patent. This is the way my mind worked. I wanted to have a patent on my bag. And so I came up with the idea for the organization with a shelf, a folding shelf in the middle of the bag. And I started doing my research again. I started shopping, going online to see if anybody else had this similar idea. I didn't find anything. And I actually started looking at patents. I'm very geeky in that way. So I started looking at patents, doing it that way. But really pushed it over is that I don't sew. I don't draw. So again, I'm like, how am I going to make this bag and kind of bring this idea to life? So what I did is I actually went to Target. I bought a bag of the same shape and size of this bag that I was thinking about. And I just started cutting it up and putting things in place that I had imagined to create this prototype that I envisioned.
So I love that because that was really my next question was, how do you create a prototype? That's a great idea. Go find something similar and adapt it to what you already have. But the question I have for you is, in your research, how did you even, I mean, you know, you saw women carrying all these different bags. Sounds like a great idea, but how did you determine that there would really be a need for this product before you actually started investing in manufacturing the product?
Yeah, so when I came up with my prototype, I started sharing it with people that I knew that was in my circle. And then I applied for what is called a provisional patent, which allows you to have patent pending, but it also gives you 12 months to kind of test out your idea before you apply for the full patent. So when I did the provisional patent, I started sharing my prototype to other groups of people that I did not know. I started thinking about, what do we carry in our bags oftentimes, you know, what do we carry during the day, and how can I organize that in this new type of bag? Because it's really, you know, figuring out the differentiator in the bag. And just started sharing with people. Oftentimes we don't want to share ideas because we say, right, somebody's going to steal our idea. But at some point you have to share it to validate, like you said in the beginning of the conversation, to kind of validate your idea, what it is that you're doing.
Great point. And in all of that, you said that you started sharing it with other people. And I often think of focus groups, right?
Yeah.
Many companies do focus groups, whether it's on customers. And I wonder if you had a test market group and if you were able to get, when you got feedback, did you incorporate it? How did you know that it was something that maybe could enhance what you were trying to accomplish?
Yeah, so when I was working with the student moms, I had a connection right there with moms and daycare. So I did focus group with the student moms that I was already working with and daycare providers. I absolutely incorporated their feedback into the bags. When I first started, I started with the diaper bags because it made sense with the type of work that I was doing in my nonprofit. I still incorporate the feedback and ideas that my customers give me today because they're carrying it every day, and it's a large group of women that are carrying. So I always listen to my customers, make improvements on the bags according to what they say. So it is important to listen to the customer, but at the beginning, definitely want to do focus groups. You want to talk to people. The other thing, you want to build a community, which I did not do when I first started my business, but I think it's very important to build a community even before you launch.
Well, you wonder, I mean, that's certainly a great idea. You see it in just about every product that you can think of has some kind of Facebook group or like cell communities or messaging communities, that sort of thing. The other question I would have for you, so you would create a community about people who want organization, or what would if you, because I want to give people some insight. And I think you can learn from what others didn't do. So if you had it to do over, what kind of community would you create?
Yeah,
Focused on what?
Right. I mean, I would focus on women who carry a lot of bags to work, organization, not just organization, people, not just organization with what you carry, but maybe organizing your closet or organizing your home or organizing your pantry. And talk about work or travel. What do you carry in your bags? What do you pack when you travel? How you pack? So all of those things would have made it easier for me to start selling because I would have had that community up front. And believe me, it was not as easy as this conversation is going in the beginning, because I had a lot of obstacles, a lot of challenges in the beginning. If I had to do it over, I would want to understand manufacturing much, much better than what I did. When I first launched, I had 30% defective bags. So I just want to keep it real with the people because it's difficult. But it's about perseverance. It's about, connecting with people, understanding or wanting to learn, to immerse yourself, determination. So it's all that mindset, right? Because it's going to be challenging. It's going to be difficult. There are going to be some hard times because you're figuring it out. I never did this before. So you're learning, you're failing, you're figuring it out as you go along.
Whoa, that's a great insight, because here's what I truly believe. I truly believe that you learn more from your mistakes and failure than you do your successes.
Absolutely.
Because I believe that, sometimes quick success, we can become complacent and think that things are easy, right? So we kind of lose that sense of urgency. Which is what you need oftentimes to bring something to fruition. You need that sense of urgency. And that's what I want to talk about next, is how you actually were able to execute on getting that first product to market and what came after. So don't go anywhere, folks. Coming up, we're going to talk about how you execute on actually bringing your product to market. I'm Deborah Owens. Keep watching. This is Get Well.
Aha! That was, you know what I love, the reason I love doing these watch parties, just so you guys know, is because you know what, when you're interviewing someone, you don't, you're having this conversation and you're not necessarily processing it. There was some good stuff in there. So I want to know, give me your takeaways from that last segment, just around strategy and how she went about bringing that to market. I know for me, probably the most insightful thing that she said there was just about perseverance. What you need to know about her story is that she had been on this journey for several years. I want to say it's been almost 10 years since she started this, and that her product has been through a lot of evolution. And she basically has had to, because her original product, because remember, she was in a school and it was for finding, I think she was finding transportation for the women who were pregnant. And so her original idea for Minky Blue was really had diaper bags. And eventually she, expanded that in transition. And now she has a number of organizational bags. So let me just go to your comments. The community. That's right. And so that's one of the things I want to, I think that is so, I won't say easy, but certainly the platforms are there for you to begin to build communities around the things that you think are important. Or if you are considering some kind of business, start building the community now. just around your interest. And so that can be a way of you creating that customer base before you even bring the product to market. Great information there. Let me go to some of your comments though. Carolyn says, that's right, build a community to get info and feedback. So a lot of you really caught in on that. Suzanne said manufacturing challenges. She spoke about, yes, do your research and push through. When she comes back, she's going to share just a little bit about some of those challenges more specifically. Roxanne says, very important to build a community even before you launch your product. Keisha says, that's right, listen to the customer. Expect setbacks because you are learning. Exactly right. I think it's Willie Jolly, a motivational speaker who says it quite well. A setback is a setup for a comeback. I love that. And then Lynette says she would have had a focus group so she would know how to build her product. Exactly right. In fact, though, she said she had that product. You know, it is interesting, Lynette, I'm glad you brought that up because she did have a focus group that had the same interest. But if you had a focus group of not just people who were just about to become mothers, you really could have keyed in on some of the other ways that you could create your product itself. Belinda says her transparency about percent of failed bags and ability to bounce back. Yeah, and so that's what you need to know is, you know, we often look at people and we revere them. You know, they're like an overnight success, but we don't know what the, what the scars are, what people actually had to go through. And one of the other things she said over and over and over and over was really the need to persevere. That, the difference between being successful and unsuccessful is that, one person gave up. So let's go to the next part, the next segment. Hang on, let me just cue this thing up. Let me share my screen again. Are you guys enjoying this? If you are, I want to hear some feedback in the chat if you're enjoying this. I certainly am. I mean, I get more out of those Get Wealthy interviews from just a personal standpoint. I think there's another reason why I think this show is so important is because it highlights not only women like Sherrill who are forging new paths, but also it highlights many of you. So let's go back to our program.
Continue to join in this conversation with me, with Sherrill Mosey. She is the founder and designer of Minky Blue Bag. Sherrill, you've given us so much insight, and I love the fact that you've been keeping it real. And so where I really want to go to now is strategy. My first question to you, however, in this segment is, where did you find the money? How much money should someone have if they're going to take a venture and actually manufacture a product?
Yeah, that's a difficult thing for me to answer from the beginning because it's something I never did. I mean, that was actually the other thing I thought about. I said, oh my God, if I knew how much money this business costs, I don't know. But sometimes, being naive is to your advantage in being successful, because if I knew half the stuff that I knew, that I know now, I was like, I don't know about this business. But to answer your question, in the beginning, I had some savings, and it's all a mindset, right? Because now you're taking risks with your money. And then I did a crowdfunding campaign. I raised money that way. So it was family and friends and through crowdfunding initially. And then it's loans. And so it's really about finding the money, using other people's money to build your business. And that's basically it. You got to make a way. You got to make a way.
So you didn't really have so you didn't really have sort of like a budget or a business plan. You were more focused on getting a prototype, bringing it to market, and in hopes that the demand would be there and you could sell that product. One of the points that you made though is that you are a first generation. Is that true? Are you a first generation entrepreneur?
You know what? My grandmother owned a hair salon, so I'm going to give credit to her. She owned a hair salon, absolutely. But to the scale that I am now, yes. But I do want to add that oftentimes there are a few things that keep us from moving forward and starting a business, right? So it's fear and money. And so that was another thing that held me back. I was like, I don't have any money to start a business. So that added into that fear and starting Minky Blue. But it was something, that mindset, you just got to start with where you are and what you have. And then it just, each step you figure things out. Where's the money going to come from? That was my strategy, whether wrong or right. That was the strategy, because oftentimes we don't really have money to start a business, but you just got to go in.
Well, I think what's interesting though is one of the things that we've seen is this whole startup culture, and you mentioned crowdfunding and the Jobs Act of, I want to say it was 2014, allowed you now to crowdfund even more without having to get into regulatory issues. If you had access to that knowledge about how to get access to capital as a small business without necessarily having to risk your savings, would you have taken another route? The only reason I asked you this is because one of the things you said out of the gate, listen, I got something manufactured and 30% of them were defective, right? So yeah. I guess if you had it to do over again, would you fund your business a different way?
Absolutely. I mean, I came up with the idea in 2012 and I launched in 2014. So there were a lot of things, I just didn't know what I didn't know. And I think today, in the last couple of years or few years, we have access to funds. There's more available, not that we're all getting the funds, but 8 years ago, I had no idea about equity, raising money, all of that. I had no idea. So I would have absolutely knew that. I think we just had more resources today, but back then I just didn't know. There were as many resources available.
And one of the other things I was going to ask, even when we first started this conversation, was if there was someone who you sought out, who maybe had manufactured someone and could give you some guidance. Did you seek out a mentor, someone who already had this experience?
Yeah, when I started, I looked for groups that I could connect with. And one in particular was SCORE. People may be familiar with SCORE, but it is funded by the SBA. They're across the country, and they are a group that will match you with mentors. And SCORE is a great organization. So I had connected with a couple of mentors at SCORE that were in manufacturing and business. So that was very helpful.
Yeah, so give us a sense though. You had this idea, 2012, you launched in 2014, so you're a 10-year overnight success, right? So now give us a sense of where you are in terms of your business. Where can we find your bags? And they're no longer, I'm looking at all the different types of bags you have behind you. Give us an update on Minky Blue. Where are you now?
Yeah, so I've come a long way for somebody who never designed a bag now. I'm into this thing now. I love designing, I love creating, I love problem solving. And so Minky Blue is sold around the world now. We will be in Macy's the end of October, definitely just in time for the holiday season. Yes, and so I'm working with other major retailers for 2023. So this is a very exciting time. There's opportunity for licensing and private labeling because I have intellectual property. So all of that hard work that I did in the beginning is definitely paying off. So it's, it's being patient, right? Because you mentioned 10 years. People would have gave up a long time ago. Some people are successful in 3 years, 5 years, but I am in it to win it. And I'm here and I'm enjoying myself. I love what I do every day. It's hard, but I love it.
Well, what's most exciting is that you have the proof sitting with you right there in the room. And when we come back, what I want to do is go into our analyze, optimize, and maximize segment. That's kind of a lightning round. I want to take everything that you've said, and if somebody were starting out and had an idea and is watching this program, I want them to know the 3 things they need to do. Don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be right back.
Yes, yes. I mean, I absolutely love this. Hang on, let me just go to my, let me stop this. Okay. What are your takeaways? Listen, there were so many nuggets in that, that's right. Start where you are. Now it's interesting, Anita, that is an Arthur Ashe quote, and I just pulled it up. Man, I tell you, this WealthyU community, we are like a that's the power of the circle, right? Like start where you are, use what you have, do what you can. That is an Arthur Ashe quote that came to mind as I was, hearing her. And in fact, by the way, I'm going to give you guys a little tease. Our new planner is about to drop. So get ready. Get ready. This is just a prototype of it. It's going to have gold rings. It's going to be very exclusive, just so you know. But guess what? Our WealthyU community, you guys are going to get first dibs, right? So before anybody gets their hands on this thing, I just signed off on it. Listen, I just want you guys to know 2023, we're going higher. You guys ready to go higher? You guys ready to go to the next level? I know you're hearing all this about recession and bear markets and all of this. No. If you don't take anything away from this program today, it is the fact that problems are opportunities. This is when fortunes are made. That's what I want you to know. But you've got to have the right mindset. This is what I want you to understand. I'm off topic a little bit, but today I was speaking with a group of entrepreneurs and just sharing with them our framework and the fact that one of the most, and we're seeing it over and over and over in the Get Wealthy program. I want you to understand this about what Sherelle has been able to do. Not only has she created a product. That's right, Karen. Fortunes are made. Listen, not only she has made a product, but what I want you to understand is what she created was a system. And now that system that she created around organization of solving a problem is now going to be licensed to others. That's what I want you to understand, is that it's not just doing the thing. It's creating a method of the thing, and that method should be able to have other people create it. Do you get that? And so everything in life really is about creating value. That's all success is. It's about making something better than it was before. That is what value is. It means that you increase the worth of something. And if you will go through life with that mindset, because if you think about it, at the heart of it, solving problems really is about being of service. And when you have, so do you see the joy in Sherelle that, even the heartaches and the hardships that she's been through, how much she is absolutely enjoying what she is doing, being of service, nothing like doing what you love, and also being able to see the fruits of that labor. So I hope you all got that. Let me just see. Deborah, that's right. She is working in her passion. Charlotte says priceless. Sonia says passionate. Trina says, ooh, I love that. Learn, do, and teach. That's a good one. Okay, so we're going to land this plan. You guys know I'm always having fun with this stuff, though. So let's go. Let's see what else Sherelle has to teach us on Get Wealthy.
Sherelle. So analyze, optimize, maximize. So based on what you said today, watching this program, if I were someone who wanted to bring a product, what do I need to analyze first in order to take the first step?
So we've been saying it all along. It's about research. You want to see what's already on the market, and you want your product to be different. What differentiates your product from everything else on the market?
Love it.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So the second thing I would actually do, and this would be different from what I did when I started, is to build that community. So start talking about your product or your idea, or talking to people who are going through the problems that you're trying to solve. So that way, when you launch your product, you'll already have customers at hand.
Oh, that's a great idea. And because that brings me really to optimizing. You say traditional marketing has been word of mouth, advertising, which could be very expensive. But your point is, if you could optimize that by already building a community around the product that you're, and the problem that you solve, you probably can use that community for a number of things. You had a little community being in that high school with those pregnant moms, and that you could test ideas with. So great advice. And then even as you're manufacturing these products now, and they're in stores around the world, and now you've got a huge customer like Macy's, how does social media and marketing play a role in what advice would you give our viewers about using these social media platforms to help you be successful with the product?
Oh yeah, you know what? I shied away from social media for so long. Oh my God. But it's so important. That's where your people are, on social media. So first you find your platform. Where is your target market hanging? Because you may not need to be on all of the platforms. So you can pick your platform where your demographics is hanging out. And then the key is to be consistent. That's where we fall off. I fell off, but I'm on it now, is you have to be consistent.
I love it. Well, you know what, to that end, and give us a little inside baseball. When you looked at what you were selling, what was the ideal product platform for Minky Blue?
Yeah, right. It's Instagram and TikTok. And what I love, what really has helped my mindset with being more consistent is that the reels, they are so short, 15 seconds, 30 seconds. And I'm like, oh my God, I don't even have to talk through this. But what's important for my product is that I have to demonstrate. And so I do these very short reels where I'm demonstrating the product because again, I need to show how it's different from everything else on the market. So we on Instagram, a couple of months ago, we went viral. One of the videos picked up steam and over 20 million people saw that thing. And I was like, oh my God, this is awesome. And TikTok, I did the same thing. Yeah, so my people are on Instagram and TikTok. So that's where you'll see me hanging out. I might do a little dance, but I'm always showing you a bag.
I love it. You know, you've given us a wealth of information today, Cheryl Mosey. I am just so excited about your growth. We met each other years ago, and just to see what you've been able to accomplish and how you brought this idea to life and now is so globally, is so amazing. Just leave us with a closing comment.
Oh, thank you so much. All I would say is nothing beats a failure but a try. You just got to get out there and give it a try.
That is so good, so good, so good, so good. I hope you, so did you and guys enjoy this week's episode of Get Wealthy? What was your final takeaway? Just put it in the chat. I've just got to say how much I enjoy highlighting the amazing accomplishments of, hey, keep watching Get Wealthy. So here is my ask of all of you. Make sure that you invite other friends to watch our Get Wealthy episodes. Make sure that you download the Black Star Network app so that you can continue to grow our audience, but also make sure that let's put in the chat, let's put our Linktree link if you want to learn about all of our programs and if you want to join our community of like-minded folks who are building their portfolios to 7 figures and beyond. Make sure that you join WealthyU. So Get Wealthy launches. Get Wealthy airs on Mondays. Our episodes air on Mondays. You can join us right here for WealthyU Wind Down on Wednesday night at 8 o'clock for our viewing parties. But you can join our WealthyU community and you can learn more about our WealthyU programs. Again, just click on our Linktree link. It's in my bio on all of these platforms. And I look forward to seeing all of you again. I hope you enjoyed our watch party tonight. And that's going to do it for me this evening. And again, thank you so much for joining us and have a good and prosperous week, everybody.
I'm sorry.